It's the same thing. Taylor, and I am the president for the Educational Support Professionals chapter of the Minneapolis Federation of Educators, Local 59. And, you know, they understand that we are fighting for smaller class sizes, safe staffing and for special education, pay parity for adult educators because they are also licensed teachers. If St. Paul can do it, we can too. You know what I'm saying? Also, living wages for the educational support professionals. We want to be able to live in the city in which we work. You know what I mean? Again, pay parity.
All of that is a means to solve tenure as president of the teacher chapter. I talked to her about what happened in Minneapolis. Why is it no longer a destination district as it was when we started 27 years ago?
Yeah.
How do we make Minneapolis a destination district? How families that are eligible district? And so we start families, and we why start here and then leave and go to other districts? And those answers were about class sizes and for the educators, pay. And so when we proffered those solutions in our bargaining demands, we're hoping the district would actually meet us at the table and cooperate with us, because we have solutions embedded in those bargaining proposals. We're still hoping that they will meet us at the table with a solution. But our members are disappointed, would be putting it mildly, because they just keep delaying and disappointing us with the lack of preparedness. They don't have their math ready. It's a big building with a lot of people, and they're just not prepared for what's at stake. It's a lot of people depending on the folks at the Davis Center to be ready to meet us at that table.
There's hope. There's time and there's hope for us. I feel that once we get back and to the table, when we go to mediation again, I believe that there's a possible chance that our district will come back the right way, correctly, so that we can get this all settled and we won't have to take drastic actions.
I have faith in her, and I have faith in our families. As a matter of fact,
Let's call up a parent now.
Hi, my name is Becca Dryden, Beccadryden, and I'm here with Minneapolis Families for Public Schools. My name's Becca Dryden. I'm the parent of 2 elementary schoolers who attend our neighborhood schools, Hale and Field. I'm here today because I believe in the power of education to foster a child's love of learning and expand their sense of belonging and community. I want to see MPS live up to that expectation for all students across the district. My family fled our home in the South for a more inclusive and welcoming place for our kids to live and learn, and I have been beyond impressed with our neighborhood schools and the teachers and staff. I was, however, shocked to see my child go from a class of 21 kindergarteners in Tennessee, where public education is not prioritized, to a school that has multiple kindergarten classes of 28 students here in Minneapolis. Because of my commitment to public education in my new home city, I began organizing with Minneapolis Families for Public Schools. We are a group of over 400 families, north side to south Minneapolis, who believe MPS can be the best option for school in our city. We are standing with educators as they negotiate their next contract, from bargaining to the picket lines if necessary. As families, we are organizing alongside educators to win enforceable class size limits at every school, more resources for special education and English language learners, and fair pay for all educators. We have already mobilized nearly 1,000 parents and caregivers to call on district leadership to settle a strong contract that addresses these issues without MFE needing to go on strike. Families are ready to go hard to win on these issues, and so are educators. We're fed up that district leadership doesn't seem to be sharing that same sense of urgency, because these issues are urgent. When we surveyed 1,000 families this spring, the issue of class sizes rose to the top for families all across the district. We're hearing stories of classes with more than into classrooms, students sitting 2 or 3 class sizes, enforcement. School by school, families are having to chase down district leadership to hold them accountable to that commitment. When I talked to my
executive board, the JEB, hasn't been convened yet. So if and when it does get approved, there's a 10-day cooling period, and that is set by law.
How does Thursday's mediation schedule affect that? After that, or
Where there's breath, there's hope.
How much sleep did y'all get last night?
Very little.
So just to understand clearly, like, how likely is a strike at this point? I don't know if you can put a % chance on it or something like that.
That's up to the district. Sometimes they can be our best organizers.
Could we have you step up to the microphone, please?
I would say that's purely up to our district leaders with what they come back with. And sometimes the bosses can be the best organizers in this situation.
I know you guys said the board has to vote on a strike, but do you guys have a specific day when the board is going to meet yet?
We can call an emergency JEB meeting
Anytime.
anytime.
But we meet Wednesday.
or what are you're going into that with this sort of in your pocket, you know?
Yes.
That's what we'll do, keep it in our back pocket. We just gonna definitely give it a breather. Let's see what our district come back with. And again, I am the one that try to have a little bit of hope and faith in a never-ending story that we hear year after year, contract after contract. This time, I'm hoping that they would just do the right thing.
She has a lot of hope.
Something you don't.
I'm finding it. I'm finding it. I know that there are people in the Davis Center who have spent the same amount of effort in the last year attempting to forge strong relationship with this union. And we said, new year, new era. We were going to build a destination district together, keeping the students and the families that we serve in mind. That it was imperative that we, in public education, become the bulwark against the assault on our democracy itself. That is what we are keeping in the forefront of our mind, that public education is a common good. That is what we're fighting for. That is what we breathe into life in every proposal that we made. We're keeping the budget in mind, and we will keep that in mind in every negotiation move that we make. We're not asking for,
The sun and the moon.
and it's a negotiation, you know what I mean? So whatever we start with and whatever we end with, it's going to be for the good of the entire district and the city of Minneapolis. So we will be open. Our phone line is open, our email is open, our hearts are open, and our hope is open that there are people that are willing to actually come to the table and negotiate.
What's the biggest hang up in the negotiations?
Have you ever heard the phrase opportunity gap? Sometimes I think there's a gap in imagination, in being able to figure out how you can imagine how we can take what little we got and fund all that we need in order to make this a destination district, especially when many of our proposals are no cost. So if we say, let's get a
A working group together, working around enrollment. That's one of our things, our common good proposals. Everything that we are fighting for is student-centered, and so it's going to help Minneapolis be a strong destination district, not just for staff, but for students as well.
What do you mean by destination district?
I moved to this state in the 90s after marrying a Minnesotan and doing my research. And I literally looked at a state that had some of the best outcomes for African Americans. And oddly enough, Minneapolis was a city that did. This was a destination district. And it was less than 10 years later that they started calling us the Mississippi of the North.
Can you be more specific about what you consider to be fair pay?
I can tell you this, if I were to cross the river and go to St. Paul, I'd make $8,000 more.
Yeah.
Competitive pay is pay that's commensurate with our peer districts. And Minneapolis Public Schools is probably about 5th on the list.
Are you losing educators to St. Paul?
Absolutely. We're losing educators to districts all around the Twin Cities. And what's really shameful is if you have taught in Minneapolis, you are considered non-parental as an educator. So we are jump-starting people's careers to lose seasoned educators to other districts. We don't want to be the launching pad to great educators.
Yeah, and we want to be able to live in a city and prices going up, food going up. We still have educational support professionals that are homeless. In Minneapolis, they working full-time jobs. Okay, so when we say competitive and a living wage, that's what we mean. We want to be able to live in the city in which we work. Thank you.
I have a question. I know Minneapolis has had budget problems for a long time. When you talk about an imagination gap, are there proposals or ideas that the union organizing its finances, whether that's buildings for a long time?
I think when we look at the district's budget, them attacking their transportation we are aware of that, what our district a lot away from the student. They would do better to not do it that way.
What do you mean by that? Like, what are they spending on that's not?
With teaching children.
Do
Do you have any concerns about the frequency of getting to this point where you either strike or are close to striking based on back in 2022 and now?
Now, it may seem frequent. Matter of fact, I heard someone go, it's deja vu all over again. And the reason and frequent is because we started bargaining so early. We had just settled a contract, and then, we said, let's start bargaining again so that we would get this contract settled by the time our contract ended.
Sadly, for the last 20 I've worked on an expired contract. And again, we took the first step and came to the district and said, let's start this process early. You know what I mean? We started way back in April on an expired contract, which expired in June. And so...
And oddly enough, started bargaining after we did. Mind you, we started bargaining in April of 2025. St. Paul has already settled. Other districts have already settled. Minneapolis didn't come back with counter proposals until August of 2025. Some people tout that 25 or that 15-hour marathon mediation without actually noting we spent about 40 minutes in each other's presence. That could have been an email.
This is the third contract negotiation cycle where you've either taken a strike vote or a call for a strike vote. Do I have that
This is the third one.
It's not fourth, it's third.
It's the third. It's the third one. And again, we didn't expect it to happen. We thought we'd be settled by summer.
Before school even started.
Before school started.
Mm-hmm.
But it's fall, and
we're here.
We're here.
You said earlier that 92% of people turned out to vote and 92% voted to strike. Is that surprising to you that not one person didn't vote not to strike?
No, 92% of the 92%. Okay? So there were some no's. Some people voted no. But 92% of our members, her chapter, the ESP chapter, their votes were counted separately. My chapter was counted separately.
And then we tallied them up together.
Mm-hmm.
So 95% of educational support professionals
We had a bet.
showed up.
Oh my God.
Showed
up. Yes. The ESPs are even more eager to strike. So.
But again, we're hoping and praying that our district come back, with a really good deal to whereas we won't have to even take those type of actions. I have faith.
Since announcing the strike authorization vote, have you heard from the district at all?
I've reached out to a few leaders.
Really?
I reached out to a few, and I actually invited them to come to our mediation session, including school board directors and our superintendent.
I was asleep. I have not reached out to anyone except the back of my eyelids. So last night was a late night. I literally woke up and I have come here. And I don't know if the district is learning about our strike authorization vote results. I don't know if that's going to move anyone to make any overtures whatsoever. Are they going to just wait for our mediation? A strike is leverage, but I also want to respect my members and not be so crass as to say, oh, we just took the strike. So I'm going to sit with what my members just authorized and leave it at that. Okay?
We're just going to take one more question.
Okay, thank you.
Do you all have the exact vote totals, or are you just giving us the 92?
Our district knows because
We have thousands.
okay.
One more.
What is it like to have support from parents?
Oh, now you're back.
It means we do this for our students. We love and care for them, and our parents got our backs, and they love and care for us as well. So we really, really appreciate them.
And I know Becca and Trista here are willing to do some
Further.
breakouts one-on-ones here. So
Yes.
thank everyone for coming and
Thank you.
contacting me.